بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Brothers and sisters, with our third session and final session with Q&A, ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He opens our hearts to His pleasure and what pleases Him. My brothers and sisters, everything I said in the last 2 hours, I'm just being honest and practical about matters. I don't want you to live in fairy tales and put you in a level that we're not at yet. The reality is we need to fix a lot of the things that we need to fix before we reach to the levels that we want to. There's no doubt that everyone wants to see the uprise of Islam, and everyone wants to see the Khilafah of Islam, and everyone wants to see the Shari'ah. But this is not going to happen just by it happening. The Shari'ah is not going to come to us, and the uprise of Islam is not just going to happen. We need to make it happen. And if there's anyone that Allah Azza wa Jalla would have made it happen to without doing anything, it would have been the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the Sahaba strived for it. If we want to see the Shari'ah being implemented, and we want to see the Khilafah of the Islam being existing, then we need to strive for it. But as long as we are sitting down, just talking, and not taking the practical ways to reach it, and not doing what we need to do, and starting from our own backyards, that's never going to happen. The Shari'ah is never going to be implemented in the West until it's implemented in the Muslim countries. Never is going to happen. That's impossible. So let's stop talking about Shari'ah being implemented in the West and start talking about what's practical and let it implement in the Muslim countries. If the Muslims not going to accept Shari'ah in their lives, non-Muslims are not going to accept it in their lives. And that's a reality. And when we start implementing Shari'ah in our lives, then Allah will give us the Shari'ah to be implemented around us. إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُغَيِّرُ مَا بِقَوْمٍ حَتَّى يُغَيِّرُ مَا بِأَنفُسِهِمْ. Allah does not change the condition of people until they change themselves. So if we want Allah to make this change around us, we need to start making a change within our lives. And if we're not practicing the Shari'ah the way it should be practiced, then what's the point of us having Shari'ah? What's the point of us having Shari'ah? So we need to practice Shari'ah in our lives. We need to implement it in our lives, in our day-to-day life. Implement it within ourselves, with our families, with everyone. And when I say Shari'ah, I'm saying all the aspects of Shari'ah. The manners of the Shari'ah, the morals of the Shari'ah, the ethics of the Shari'ah, the worships of the Shari'ah, the following of the Shari'ah, the care of the Shari'ah. This is all Shari'ah. This is all Shari'ah. Shari'ah is not just going and fighting or wallahi implementing the penalties. Shari'ah is your way of life, how you live Shari'ah. And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam was not given to him the implementation of Shari'ah as a state until him and the Sahaba implemented Shari'ah in their lives. When they had Shari'ah in their lives, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him that state. When we have Shari'ah in our lives, you find Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala change around us. So my brothers and sisters, it's important that we understand what Allah wants from us. We all want the principle, but some of us want to jump to it, don't want to get to it. And some of us want the Shari'ah to come to them, they don't want to get to it. We need to have Shari'ah in our lives by practicing the teachings of Shari'ah in our lives. Starting with our manners, with our morals, with our discipline, with our ethics, with our etiquette, with our akhlaq, with our attitude. When we have that in our lives, then we could start talking about Shari'ah being implemented and being around us.
Should we call openly to the implementation of the Sharia in the West like some people do? Or is this in opposition to the Sunnah of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam? And some people even claim that we should physically fight for it.
Brother, there is no doubt every single Muslim must believe in the implementation of the Sharia. Every single Muslim must believe in the implementation of the Sharia. But it's not about talking about implementing the Sharia. How are you going to implement it? When you reach to the level that you can implement it, then talk about implementing it. But when you don't even have money to buy a house, you're talking about how you're going to build the house. You don't even have money, you're poor. You live on the welfare. You want to buy a mansion of $1 million. Someone has got $1,000 and is talking about, I want to build this mansion on the beach, triple stories. It's something I want to do. Get the money, work, get the money, and then come and talk. But you don't even have anything. You don't have power. You don't have strength. You don't even have, Muslims don't even have deen, and you want to talk about implementing the Shari'ah. You know, there is no doubt every single Muslim must believe in the implementation of the Shari'ah. As we believe, Muslims, the Shari'ah is the solution to the problems of mankind. But you don't say, I want to implement it now when you're not even strong. You want to implement it now when you don't even have power. You want to implement it now when you don't even have support. You want to implement it in a Western country when your own Muslim countries don't even implement it. Let's be realistic. Let's be realistic, you know. Let's talk about reality. Let's do something that's practical to us. So as a Muslim, I must believe in it. At this current moment, do I talk about implementing Sharia in the West? Of course not. Implementing Sharia in the West. Talk about implementing Sharia in a Muslim country. Muslims have priority to implement Sharia in their lives than non-Muslims to implement it in their lives. When Muslims implement the Sharia in their lives, talk about then you want to implement it in a Western country when you're at a state of strength and power. When more people embrace Islam, when you have more Muslims around you, you want to impose Sharia on a majority kuffar, you want to impose Sharia in a kafir country on a majority kuffar. Is that what the Prophet ﷺ did? And Nabi ﷺ brought people to Islam. When people were Muslims, he implemented Sharia. But now you are 2% in front of 98% kuffar, and you want to implement the Sharia on them. Like what are you saying, you know? Implement the Sharia. When we implement Sharia in our lives, you find Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make the Sharia be implemented around us. So this is the fact, you know, and this is the reality that we live in these days.